Hi everyone, welcome back to the Morgan Homestead. I'm Kevin. Today I'm going to go out and collect the rest of our sap and finish the last boil of the year for maple syrup. Today we're going to be cooking in the woods, boiling maple sap so that we can boil it down to maple syrup. I do have a full 2 episodes from previous years on this, so I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but I'll put links to those 2 episodes down in the description if you want to go back and check those out. Now, I did already boil about 40 gallons of sap in a few weeks ago. Today I actually went out and took the last of the buckets, pulled all the taps, and we're done collecting sap for this year. So this is the last of what we're going to be boiling. We got about 35 gallons here, hoping to get about a gallon of syrup once we're done with that. So we just started boiling. The fire isn't even fully up to temperature yet to get the sap boiling in the pans. I'll bring you in a little closer here so you can take a look at it. For those of you who haven't seen it before, basically I have a cooker. This is the cement part here with the fire going on inside, and then 3 pans on here with sap in them right now. And this is kind of a warming pan. This gets a little bit hotter here, and then this is the boil that we want to keep going good. Once we're done with this one, we put it in another pan and we'll finish it off in the house. This will take about probably 6-7 hours to boil this down before we can get it in the house, and usually about another hour in the house. So basically what I do is, this is a preheater pan. This is the middle boil pan, and this is the final boil pan for outside cooking. We'll finish the rest of it on the inside. But what I do is I'll take a few scoops out of this one, put it into this one, a few scoops out of this one, put it into this one, and basically we're just moving all of the sap down to this last pan. Before then, from there, like I said, we'll put it in a separate pan, bring it in the house, and finish the boil. So the goal is to get all the buckets into all these pans and move everything from this one down to this one. So all I do to put wood in here, to fill it up with wood, I just pull one of these out and then just throw the wood inside there. That one's too big. We'll have to cut that one. And I just keep feeding wood in here to keep the fire going. And put this back in. And then down at the bottom, if you can see, so down here at the bottom is the air intake, and I can control that by sliding this back and forth. And then I also have a damper on the chimney pipe. I can open and close that as well. All right, so now we're cooking. All 3 of them are boiling. You can see the back 2 are boiling a little bit harder than the rest, the one in the front. And we'll just, as this boils down, we'll just keep moving everything to the back here, and then add more to the front ones until we get everything in this last pan. It's literally watching water boil. That's all it is. Okay, so we have all the buckets in the pans now. So now we just got to keep moving everything from front to back, and then eventually take that back pan in the house and cook it down some more. I'll show you once we get down to the last pan, and then what we have to do once we empty these pans, we have to put water in them, because we got to keep them on here, because that's what closes off top of this cooker from the fire below. You need to have an open flame coming out. But you have to put water in the pans, otherwise they warp if there's nothing in them. They'll get too hot and warp. Okay, so now we're down to just these two pans here. This one just has some water in it. So once this one boils down now, I'll keep adding more to that one and then finally dump it into that one, put water in that one, boil that one for a little while longer, take that out, put it in a different pan, and then put water in that one as well, and then take the syrup in the house to finish it off. Alright, so now everything's down to one pan on the back. So we'll boil that down for a little while yet. We'll put it into this pan. So I run it through a double filter in this pan, and then we'll take it into the house to finish it off. Okay, so now we're in the house. I took the syrup out of the big kettle, filtered it again, and put them into these two pans. So this is what we have left to boil. I also have a pot here that's full of canning jars. I'm going to sterilize these, so we'll bring these to a boil. Once this is at 219 degrees, it's syrup, and then we can put it into the jars. When I put it in the jars, I then filter it again. So it gets filtered a lot, but what happens is there's this, what they call maple sand. It's like a gritty sugar is what it is, and we're trying to filter as much of that out as we can. So this is the thermometer that I use to check to see what temperature it's at. So let's see what we have for this one. So right now this one's 210. And this one is 210 also. So we gotta wait till these heat up to 9 more degrees before it becomes syrup, and then we can put it in the jar. Okay, so now that we have it up to temperature, we're gonna take and run it through this filter. I have a jar inside here, and then we'll put it in the jars so it gets filtered before we put it in the jars. Just take another jar. Stick it in there. Put a jar funnel on there, and then stick the filter inside of the holder and move to the next one. Take a lid out of the hot water, wipe the rim. And put a ring on it. And we'll just let that sit until it seals, and then it's ready to be stored. Okay, so here's the final harvest of the year for maple syrup. I ended up getting 6 from this last batch, 9 from the other. We did use 3 of them, so there's 3 missing from here, but we ended up with 15 total pints on the year. So next year I did find 5 more trees to tap, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more next year. But for now, I guess hopefully this will last us for the year. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We hope that you will follow along with us, laugh with us, and most of all, love this way of life with us. Because if we can do it, so can you. Goodbye for now. Boil of the year. For the last boil of the year for maple syrup. The last boil of the year. Big wind? What the hell? Once this is ready, we can then put it in the jars for canning, and then we're done. And then we're done. To boil. Once this reaches 219 degrees, then it's syrup for our area. I also have a pot here that's full of canning jars. I'm going to sterilize these, so we'll bring these to a boil. And then once this is ready, we can then put it in the jars, and that's the end. We can put it in the jars, and then it's... So once this is